The rainy yet warm weather conditions being experienced could not dampen the spirits of those who had gathered to hear the latest on the airport's construction and also to find out about possible areas for investment. Taking the floor first was Parliamentary Representative for the area, Honourable Frederick Stevenson, who noted that the constituency of South Windward would soon become one of the most progressive in the country. He implored residents to make the best use of the opportunities that would come.
All of you who live in the surrounding areas of the Argyle International Airport would have to see to it that whatever developments take place in and around here, that you have to be a part of those developments. You cannot leave yourselves behind, and we cannot allow other persons to come in and to steal your joys. You belong to this constituency and this community, and it is important that as the airport develops and as we await the final stages of it, that the surrounding areas, the surrounding villages of Diamond, of Stubbs, of Argyle and Peruvian Vale and Baibu and so on, take on a new development look as well.
The area representative also looked ahead to what he sees as future developments for the area.
What would happen around here? It is my belief that there be increased tourism activities around here, and that when the airport is open, we would need apartments, we would have need for hotels, we would have need for shops and grocery stores, and Ms. Halbish would speak to some of those things in her address. We would need things, we need for our farmers to become integrally involved in tilling the soil again, so that whatever we do and whatever developments come with the airport, that we and all of us are going to be a part of those activities. The government and friendly countries throughout the world have come together to assist St. Vincent and the Grenadines with the development and the construction of an international airport at Argyle. When we look back at Argyle 4 years ago, and we look at it now, we see the tremendous transformation that has taken place. I'm sure that some of us, if we didn't take any pictures before, we wouldn't remember what Argyle looked like before the construction, the start of construction of the international airport.
His presentation was followed by that of Dr. Rudy Matthias, CEO of the International Airport Development Company, the IADC.
I want to comment on something that the Honorable Minister said in his presentation. It is about that we are moving earth, and it seemed that for 4 years, that is all that we've been doing, moving earth. When we did the costing for the Argyle International Airport, few people would remember that the moving of the earth was going to cost almost 50% of the cost of the project. So the moving of earth at Argyle is a significant part of the cost of building the airport. So we can't trivialize it. We can't just wave it away. Because if we were not to have to move that much earth, we would have built the airport a long time ago. So it is important that we remind people. And in fact, I know Jennifer and her communication team are now working on some pictures of what Argyle used to look like before and what it looks like now. Just so that we'll remind those persons who perhaps have short memories. Because we've done a lot of earth movement and it has cost a lot of money too. I also want to just mention something that is important as well. That God in his infinite wisdom sent us to Argyle, and perhaps it is the best site to build an airport. But it is the best site for another reason. In the process of moving the earth, we've discovered a lot of rocks at Argyle. But the discovery of the rocks is a good and a bad thing, because it cost us a lot of money to excavate the rocks in building the airport. We spent about $3 million already buying dynamite to blast the rocks to get Fort Hill down to where we wanted, and we are still working on that part of the runway. But one thing for sure, if we did not find rocks at Argyle, we would have had to bring rocks to Argyle. And can you imagine how much it would have cost us and how much it would have cost the people of St. Vincent if you had to bring rocks in these big trucks from Layne or from some distant point in St. Vincent to Argyle? Because you're going to need a lot of rocks in Argyle to pave the runway. The engineers and I just last week were reflecting on how lucky we are that in the process of building this airport, we found rocks. Though it is costly to mine, it is far cheaper to mine it than to have to pay to bring it to Argyle. So we should be grateful. In every dark cloud, there is a silver lining. But I want to talk about the silver lining tonight that the airport creates for this community and for the rest of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are building a project in your backyard. And as your good minister and area representative said, you have to make maximum use of it. You can't allow other people to come and suck the sweetness and you are right here standing and looking. You have to prepare yourselves to take part in whatever good. And we know there's going to be a lot of good coming out of the Argyle Airport project. In fact, the reason why we are spending money in building Argyle is not for Argyle Airport itself. We are not just building an airport because we want to build the airport. We are building the airport because we expect the airport will help our country to develop and grow. But that growth is not going to come automatically. People have to do something in order for us to achieve the benefits. In order for the potential to be realized, we all have to do something. So if we want our tourism product, and I'm sure Kim will talk about this when she comes to the microphone. If we want the tourism product to develop, we have the airport, but we are going to have to invest in the tourism product. And if you are as close as you are here now to Argyle, and if you are going to allow the visitors to come off their planes and to have to go to Villa, or to go to Cane Garden, or to go to Prospect to find a suitable room to stay, then you are going to be missing the boat. You're going to be missing the people. In fact, they're going to be driving by you. So you are here, you are in the first catchment area, and you must let your light shine so that when the visitors are passing, they can see, here is an opportunity for me to stay when I visit St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So there are opportunities for people in this community to invest in all sorts of hotels. I imagine as a small investor, you will be thinking more of the what we call the bread and breakfast. You know, the small hotels where you accommodate people and you give them some breakfast in the morning and they go about their business and they look after their meals, their lunch and their dinner. But that is an opportunity for a small businessman. I suspect there might be one or two persons in the audience who might be thinking a little bit bigger than small. So there are opportunities for everybody. There are going to be a number of persons working at the airport, and they are not all going to be coming from this catchment area. Some people will be coming from Leeward, and some people will be coming from distant parts of the Windward. And they may very well want to live in Argyle. They may not want to commute to and fro every day. So there are going to be opportunities for housing, apartments, and for new housing. So that those of you who are into construction may very well want to start thinking about perhaps developing a small housing estate that might appeal to people who are going to be working at the airport, who may want to settle in and around their work area. Because clearly, if you're working at Argyle, you wouldn't want to be driving 15 and 20 miles every day to and fro to go to work. And Stubbs, Victoria Village, Carapan, Argyle, Peruvian Vale, all of these are nice communities in which people can live. So there are opportunities here to start thinking about housing, either for rent or for sale, for people who are going to be working at the airport. Bars and entertainment. These are things that are going to become important. In fact, as the taxis, if you go to Grenada, as you drive from the airport in Grenada, what they call the Maurice Bishop International Airport now, all along the road, there are small hotels and bars, and you can't miss them. And I'm saying to you, as the closest community, and especially since most of the people who come to Argyle are likely to be going towards Kingstown, you are going to be having the first opportunity to see these persons and to impress them with whatever service you are offering. So you have a grand opportunity to be the first type of business that they may see and they may want to partake in. There are going to be far more taxis now at the airport, and you can imagine that we are going to need red cap service, cleaning services at the airport, and you may very well find that there might be requirements for maintenance team, contract maintenance people. So these are areas where small business people can also start thinking about. We may also think about a limousine service, because there are some persons who may very well need that kind of service. So I'm thinking here about the kinds of small businesses, these kind of small opportunities in which you might want to invest or you may want to think about. Now, people who are really interested in business need not have me tell them in which businesses they should put their money. Because when you are inclined to business, you tend to see business opportunities on your own. And you have to, of course, evaluate them on your own too. But we are here to start the discussion tonight. And I'm here to help you think through the process of how you may want to go about, or in which businesses you might want to go about investing your money. There are, of course, larger opportunities than the ones that I've mentioned. There is a grand opportunity for a business person or a group of persons to invest in and run the cargo terminal. We do not have a cargo terminal at Arnold's Vale, but we have a dedicated cargo apron that can hold two of the Amerijet types simultaneously. So we are talking about an apron that can hold two Amerijets at the same time. So we are building, or we propose to build, a cargo terminal to service those planes when they bring the cargo. And we would be more than happy to enter into some kind of business relation with any firm that wants to invest and manage that cargo terminal. So this is one of the bigger type of investment opportunities that is available there now. There is the need for catering to the airlines. Of course, if British Airways comes here and has a 767 plane that has seating for about 390 persons, clearly if they are going to be leaving here, they are going to need food. And so I can imagine that they wouldn't be able to bring that food from wherever they're coming. They are going to have to replenish their supplies here. So there is going to be a demand for catering services to the airlines that are likely to be coming here. But I am only using British Airways. I am almost certain that all of the other airlines are going to need the service as well. Those of you who are into services for private jets, we have built or are in the process of building a fairly big general aviation area that is for private jets and for those planes that go between St. Vincent and the Grenadine Islands. And in that area, we are creating space for about 7 or 8 what we call aircraft hangars. That is where you can provide services to the jets and to the other private and general aviation people. And one of Any one of those hangars can also provide service to the people who are coming on those jets. This is a very lucrative thing for those persons who are involved in that kind of business. So we have opportunities for about 7 or 8 of those kinds of businesses to be established at Argyle. These are the bigger kinds of businesses. The investment is going to be a bit bigger than simply building a small bed and breakfast hotel. But there are opportunities that you know about that you can start finding a joint venture partner if you are inclined to that sort of business to get involved in. And finally, of course, we have room for a lot of shops in the terminal building. And if I give you a sense of the terminal building, Jennifer showed you the picture of the terminal building under construction, but it really is a massive building. The building at Arnoldsville is about 25,000 square feet on 2 floors. We are building a terminal building now with 3 floors and total square footage of 145,000 square feet. The building is significantly, it is more than 6 times the size of the building that you have at E.T. Joshua. So within that building, we have a lot of space for all kinds of shops. So that prepare yourselves and get ready, because the airport is going to need money to run, and we are going to need you to come and rent the space. So there are opportunities there for shops within the terminal, but there are also opportunities for you to do different kinds of businesses around the airport itself, not within the fence, but outside, just outside of the fence. You know, there is a new gas station in the Peruvian Vale area, but I am sure if you ask, you will get permission to set up a gas station closer to the airport. I can imagine that those persons who are coming to Argyle and want to go back to Kingstown may prefer to use a gas station that is close by the airport, rather than having to leave the Argyle airport and go to Peruvian Vale to fill up. But it is just one opportunity. There are, of course, going to be demand for rooms just outside the airport too, not only in Stubbs and Victoria Village, but just outside the airport, you know, an airport hotel for people who are overnighting. Because we are building the Argyle Airport as a hub for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So that those persons who come on an international flight and go into Beckway or to Canaan or to Union, they are likely to have to overnight here, most likely, depending on what time they arrive, and they may need some place that they need to stay overnight. So there is going to be a demand for rooms close by to the airport as well. Now, these are some of the opportunities that I can think of, but as I said, all business people, they examine opportunities and they look for themselves at what they think they can do and in what kinds of businesses they want to invest their money. I am simply throwing out some ideas for you tonight and for us to start the discussion. I trust you would see in them some good, and I trust we can begin seriously now to consider how are we going to use this information to benefit from the airport that has been built in your area.
Join us again next time when we will bring you more presentations from the recently held Town Hall meeting in Stubbs. In the meantime, you can check us out on www.svgiadc.com, at Friends of the Argyle International Airport on Facebook, and IADC SVG on YouTube. You can also donate to the project at the Bank of SVG, account number 200884.